You're listening to Real Talk Texas on 570 KLIF News and Information. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert Steve Hakes.
Welcome to Real Talk Texas. Real Talk Texas is a forum where real experts from the DFW and North Texas area come on our show and share advice. And so at Real Talk Texas, we really do a good job of vetting out who are the real experts that you might need in your life, and we bring them onto the show to help discuss a subject matter that may be near and dear to our listeners' hearts. Today, we've got the opportunity to discuss something that happens in my everyday life as a mortgage banker. And that is, I deal with consumers out there that need credit. They're looking for a mortgage loan, and we always pull credit. And today we've got, from Rising Point Solutions in Grapevine, Texas, we've got Carl Stanley calling in to our studio today to give us some advice and some insight into what's happening in the credit restoration business. They're excellent if you've got credit dings, and we want to just kind of dig into what exactly can you do if you call me up or you call another mortgage professional or you're in getting an auto loan and your credit scores aren't quite what they would like to see. So you either do one of two things. You either you're denied credit, or you have to pay a higher rate because you've got something that you weren't aware of in most cases that's on your credit report. So today in the studio, I really feel we've got a great expert here. Carl Stanley, I've known him for several years. I've never had a complaint from a consumer that we've referred to him, and his company, Rising Point Solutions in Grapevine, Texas. So welcome to the studio here, Carl.
Thank you, sir. I'm excited to be here.
All right. Well, I want to jump right into it. Would you just share with us a little bit about your company? When did it start? How long have you been in the credit business? And let's talk about Rising Point Solutions.
Well, Rising Point Solutions was formed in 2005. I started Rising Point Solutions in 2005 as a result of some struggles I had with my own credit and really a lack of available resources out in the marketplace to help somebody like me. So our mission and our goal since then is to provide a great service to consumers who have all kinds of credit issues that need help, so that we can help educate them and get the resources they need to get back on the right track and have better credit for the rest of their lives. So we've been around since 2005, as you mentioned. We're based in Grapevine. We're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and our goal is just to help consumers who really have nowhere to turn when looking at their credit.
Well, and what I do as a mortgage professional, in a lot of cases, we look at that, and my philosophy's always been, I don't ever say no. I just say not now. And that's because, things change for people, and bad things happen to good people. And so what I would like to also ask you, Carl, I know there in the mortgage industry, with the Dodd-Frank and the CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, that's the new agency that's governing us. What are some of the things that are changed in the industry as you've seen it over the last, 8-9 years?
Well, when I first got in the industry 8 years ago and started Rising Point Solutions, and I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit later, but there's a reason I started Rising Point Solutions. But when I started 8 years ago, the credit restoration or credit repair industry didn't have a great name and reputation. And over the last 7 or 8 years, most of the really bad companies in our industry have been weeded out. There's still some companies out there that, maybe don't do a great job, but the federal government has done a good job of coming in and weeding out all of the people that are abusing consumers and not providing a proper service in the credit repair industry. That being said, just as you mentioned, the CFPB, the new regulatory body for your industry, is also the new regulatory body for my industry. So we're actually regulated by the same governing body. We were with the Federal Trade Commission on January 1st. That changed to the CFPB. So their mission is going to be the same as it always has been, is to protect consumers and make sure companies like mine are providing an honest, ethical service and giving the clients their money worth.
Well, yeah, and I think that it's a good thing. The one thing that with the CFPB and those of you who haven't followed the Dodd-Frank rule that has been in place for some time is that before we had all these different regulatory bodies for different parts. I mean, in the mortgage industry, I think we were regulated by 4 or 5 different regulatory bodies. And what this rule did was it rolls everything into under the same umbrella. So we're all being looked at similarly. And it also helps the consumer out there know that, they're talking to each other. So whether it's a credit repair person or if it's a mortgage or it's an auto loan or a pawn shop, all those people are now underneath the CFPB.
Anything that directly affects the consumer is going to be closely watched by them, especially in an industry like ours who's had its problems in the past. Well,
let's talk about Rising Point as far as you're being rated by the Better Business Bureau, and as a mortgage professional, I'm very cautious on who I refer, and as a host of Real Talk Texas, I'm very cautious on who I bring on the show. And you guys have an excellent reputation. How do you maintain that?
We do. We've been in business for 8 years, as we mentioned, and we've had 0 complaints with the Better Business Bureau in the last 7-8 years. And the way we're able to maintain that is that we are a company that turns away business. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of credit repair companies out there that their only goal is to get you in their program. We're going to sit down with every consumer we work with, and we're going to make sure the program's right for them. And for some people, it's not right for them. We're going to be honest with them and tell them that up front. And by doing that business that way, then you're going to have happy customers. If you try to squeeze a square peg into a round hole and it's just not a good fit, then that's when the complaints come. So we sit down with every consumer we work with. We do a free consultation. We'll sit down with them for about an hour, go through their situation, their credit profile, and make sure our program is something that we think is going to be successful for them. And then by doing business that way, the consumer really appreciates that. The consumer just wants to be shot straight and told the truth.
Well, if you just tuned in, you're listening to KLIF AM 570 News and Information. This is Steve Hakes with Real Talk Texas, and on the studio today, we've got Carl Stanley of Rising Point Solutions, and our topic today on Real Talk Texas is credit, your credit, what it looks like, what happens if you need help. And it's amazing to me, and it's one thing I really preach to my children, is that, you have to protect your credit. And we'll talk about that a little later in the show. But we also are offering a free service today, and that is, if you text the show, we'll put you in touch with Carl and his team at Rising Point Solutions. And if you're interested, pull out your cell phone right now, type in this number. It's 817-925-2546. That's 817-925-2546. And that's our show number. And just text the word credit. And that will put you right in touch with Carl. If you're looking for financing, just put in finance. And then I'll have our team contact you from Affiliated Bank. So stay tuned. We're going to bring Carl back after the break, and we're going to talk about that free consultation that he's offering and how to set that up.